Hello and welcome back. We've got the saddle tank there moving away from the sidings. She's model number R.153. She was available between 56 and 62, a couple of slight variations. This is an acetate version. We're just going to have a gentle pause here before points number 7, and we're going to run around this rake we've got sitting at the station. We've got a couple of R22 green coaches, a little milk tank wagon and a goods van. And I think the two wagons are in acetate and the coaches may well be in polystyrene. Lovely sound there. And then we'll switch the points and we'll roll back and collect them. I think we have those. And she's absolutely effortless away there. She's got solid wheels and there's definitely no magnet adhesion on this early model. When we look at the locomotive later, you'll see she has got some significant distortion in the bodywork. I think this is a lovely collection of models. Perhaps could have been seen on somebody's railway in the sort of mid to late 50s. Around the first radius curve there, back down the side of the station, some lovely coaches sitting there in the station. Got the old-time caboose. Terrific shot as she comes towards the gasometer and the oil tank there. Into the same radius curve. Lovely rattle just coming off those wheels, I think. Really beautiful. We'll just have a swift look at page 3 in the 1956 catalogue here. And here we have the saddle tank. I think this is the first time it showed up. This is R151, which was the clockwork variant, and R153, the electric powered version. So I think the model was designed with both motors in mind, which accounts for its very high tank across the top, which makes it look a little bit top heavy. So we'll pop the catalogue down, and then we'll just have a look over the model. So she's got a box, so it's a little bit beaten. There's tape and there's a bit of a split in the box there. I'm not sure what this number refers to, but there's the paper label there and a bit of tape over it. R153 Saddle Tank Locomotive black livery. Got a paper label on the other end too. So you can see its box has been torn a little bit where somebody's removed the original sellotape. So we'll whip off the lid and we'll have a quick look inside. Nice brown cardboard packaging on the inside, sort of corrugated card. I think the model would have originally had some packing rings here and perhaps a bottle of the Triang oil, the Shell branded oil I think it was, with a sort of waxy sealed top with a cork stopper. Lovely looking thing. It's in black acetate, so you can see she has begun to warp a little bit. The foot plate has gone along here and you see the two parts of the body mould, it just clips together. It's beginning to split away there, and there's a definite hump across the top of that tank, isn't it? It's very tall, as I say, to accommodate that clockwork motor. So there was another clockwork variation in 59, which was in green and black plastic, and that was part of the primary range, and that was around till 63. Great looking item. You can see that heat printing there on the side of the coal bunkers just rubbing away, and these decals are very, very fragile. There are variations on the decals, and I think one of my earlier videos I've got the later decal, the later BR decal on the side there, much smaller. We've got separately fitted safety valves there, and great little windows there in the front of the cab. We'll get those to show up. Great handrails there. We'll just have another look down the side of the other side of the model. You can see the numbers in better shape there, isn't it? So it is quite a pretty thing. It's got all the steps still intact. Buffer beams painted up in bright red. Sort of metal buffers just pushed into it. And I think we've got the number there on the smoke box door. Let's see if we can get that in focus there. See if I switch it around that way, we can see that a bit better there. Some lovely detail going on there as well, isn't there, on the front of the model? Pretty good for 1956, I think. Plenty of rivets. I've just removed the very tiny securing screw from the back of the model there. So we'll pop that down, try not to lose it. So we'll have a swift look at the body moulding now. We've separated it from the chassis. As I say, she does have all of her steps, but if you look at the underside there, just look at the the distortion on that from that acetate beginning to shift. So coming along, sorry, I'll get the words out again. Coming along in 1956, it was just as Triang was swapping over to polystyrene. So I think there's many of these models available in polystyrene rather than the acetate. You can see we've got made in England there, and then right down there on the bottom, if we can get that in focus, we've got Triang, and then we've got R.151, which is the clockwork variant, and R.153, which is the electric variant we're looking at here today. But fairly tidy condition, apart from the distortion really, but I think that's to be expected with an acetate model of this age. So I think we'll just pop that down and have a swift look at the chassis. So I think this chassis is probably the sort of original, but the motor and the wiring I think has probably been upgraded or changed. So I think this wiring is of a later date than the rest of the model, but fairly strong, and it does the job. Makes a great smell, that Triang smell when it's underway, and these solid wheels, they really make such a lovely noise on the rails. They do get dirty very, very quickly. These were completely cleaned before I shot the video that you're looking at today, and they're gone very dull. Definitely time for another bit of a clean, I think. So the chassis is not the solid metal block. It's got plates containing the weights, and they are sort of screwed together. I think we can see that if I look down the other side of the model there. You can see the screws holding the whole thing together. Of course, far too early to have got magnet adhesion, but quite a lovely thing, and it runs very, very well. So we're back in the 56 catalogue here, and we've got the green coaches, R22 SR coach, and it says 8 and 3 there. So I have the pair of them on the railway, and I do have the boxes for them. But I think that moulding for the green coach is just that. It's a reused moulding of the earlier maroon and cream R21 BR coach there, also 8 and 3. I think we've seen some of those in an earlier video. But it's quite striking in green with some gold printing, which is largely rubbed away on the models I have. So if we just pop the catalogue down, we'll have a swift look over the coaches there. So I don't know whether these are polystyrene or in acetate. They span that period from sort of 53 to 56, although there doesn't appear to be that much distortion. I think the roofs are glued on these, so there's a bit of spring there. And they've got glazing strips, not strips, but they're an arch. They've got a sort of art. They're put in and folded over, and they've got this printing to obscure the windows at either end. You can see where the gold printing has been heat printed into it. It's left an impression in the plastic. Most of the gold work seems to have be long gone. You can just see a little bit of residue of gold there. Lovely bogies, sort of sleeved wheels. We've got Triang and made in England, and if we look under here, we do have Triang and R21, so that's the maroon and cream coach we just saw in the catalogue there. We'll just have a swift look down the other side. The ends are painted black. The paint is reticulated or reacted to something. It seems to be on both ends, quite like that. I don't know whether it's just the sheer age of the paintwork. And very shiny roofs, little ventilators on them. Great looking thing. So if we just pop that down, have a swift look over the box. There we go. SR passenger coach R22. Lovely original tape for those of us who like that sort of thing. Isn't it lovely how that white panel is just offset to the left there? Not sure whether that would be accidental or just as the card is slipping in the print machine. See the type along the side here, made in England by Rovex Scale Model Limited, has got shifted onto the rollover of the card. And there we have that lovely rubber stamping again on the end of the box, and 8 and 3, which is the price we saw scribbled in the catalogue there as well. So there is a packing ring in there. You can hear that rolling around inside. Just a swift look over the other coach. And again, you can see that reticulation there. Similar condition to the other one. Blued roof. Lovely thing again. Unsure whether it's acetate or not. And the other box, as we can see there, is relatively faded. Let's pop that down. They both came to me at different times. And again, you can see the position of that white panel is slightly different. It's definitely been in the sun like that, hasn't it? And you hear the packing ring inside there. And again, that one's priced 8 and 3. But lovely to have these slightly different variations. I suppose we should have a look at the ends of the boxes just together there. I think that's really quite interesting. It's just variations in the way the card's been run through the folding machine. Great things. We'll just pop that down. So I say, I think they're 53 to 56. Can't date them exactly. We've got these lovely wagons. Let's have a quick look at the wagons in the catalogue. So we'll just flip this open again. It's quite fragile, this catalogue, being very, very fine sort of coated paper. Feels quite strange on your fingers. So there's the United Dairies Milk Tank Wagon R15. And again, R15 is a long-running model, sort of 54 to 75 in a number of variants. We've seen a few of them in the past few videos, but I think this is an acetate one I have. We'll have a look at it in a moment. Again, the price scribbled there, 4 and 10. And then we've got that's the fish van, but it's basically the same model as the goods van there, R11. So again, a long-running model. I think the tools originally came from Trackmaster, so predating Flying Railways by quite a bit, and the dating I'm getting from Pat Hammond's book is 1949 to 67, so a long-running model. I'm not sure whether the tools changed over that period. Definitely the chassis did. And again, that's got a price of 4 and 1. So the model I've got's in white, and it also has a smooth roof like that. If you look at the fish fan now, it's got those sort of rain strips over there and ventilators. So we'll just pop this catalogue down before we do any lasting damage to it. A swift look over the milk tank wagon. So again, box is fairly beaten. Somebody's torn away a price ticket there, which is a little bit sad. I'll hold up the right way up. We've got milk tank wagon. The rubber stamping's on the wrong way up, isn't it, for the logo? And you can just see the R number in there. We'll have a look down the other side. So that matches the printing on the box, doesn't it? We've got R15 milk wagon there. So I like that rubber stamping. So we'll pop that down. And that one says made in England by Rovex Scale Models Limited. The other one has Richmond printed on the box there. So we'll have a quick look over the model and see she's suffering the effects of warping in this model. I think it must be some element of acetate in this one. And what look like sort of water slide or spirit fix type transfers on there. The transparent areas have taken on a little yellowing with the age, but fairly nice looking thing. And you look at it from a distance, you see the sort of warping in the bed, the tank sitting in there. Look closely, there's a little bit of bending in there, very, very shiny black plastic, that cradle. And there is some writing along the ends of these stays there, although I'm having real trouble looking down there with my glasses at the moment. So what have we got there? We've got made in England, and I think we've got an R number. So I think this cradle shed was shared on a number of models there. We've got Triang, and then we've got R12 and R15. Let's see if we can get that in focus for you there. And again, that tank made up in 3 parts. Metal chassis, the buffers are all moulded into it. Mark II style couplings, and we've got the older sleeved wheels on a metal axle there. So we'll pop her down. And we'll have a look at the goods van with GW on the side. Great Western livery. And that printing's very soft, isn't it? Not very precise at all. And this is a much earlier chassis with the closed style axle boxes and slightly earlier couplings. And look at the difference between the 2 couplings there. So I believe this chassis is made in 2 parts and bonded. So you're gripping the axle between the 2 closed axle boxes. Whereas these later style chassis is a single piece and the axle's pushed right through. So this being an earlier variant of the chassis. Again, I think it comes from Trackmaster, although the exact dating and so on I can't remember at present. I see the metalwork's beginning to sort of tarnish, that white sort of powdery effect coming through there. But very long running wagon, the goods van. So 49 through to 67, although I may have just got the dating wrong on that. I gave you the dates for the tank wagon on that. So the dates for the tank wagon are 54 to 75, and the goods wagon 49 to 67. So just misreading my notes there. So smooth roof, very, very bent. Again, it's acetate, and it will just pop off if we have a look on the inside there. You can see the distortion on that roof is quite severe, isn't it? Although the bodywork of the van has got away quite lightly. There's a little bit of shrinkage and warpage along the bottom edge, you can see there. But very lovely things. I'll just pop that back on. I forgot to show you the box that the goods van came in. So, because I mentioned it had Richmond on the side, the printing is very, very soft and worn, almost faded away there. So you can just see R11 there and goods van. And there we have made in England by Rovex Plastics Limited, Richmond, Surrey. Let's have a look at the slightly later box from the milk tank wagon. See the slight difference in the packaging there. So made in England by Rovex Scale Models Limited, so the company name's changed marginally there, hasn't it? So we'll just have a look at the other end again. It's got a packing ring floating around inside. And there we've got R11 goods van. You can just see it, that lovely original tape still clinging to the box there. So again, quite nice to have these things. Let's just ease that out. You can see the code there. So it would go for models R11, R14 and R18. So lovely things. Just catching up with the saddle tank again there. She's storming around the layout now, perhaps a bit more of a toy train speed, so I think we'll just follow her around for a few moments. Lovely noise over the point work there. I think the boxes are quite interesting though. We've just seen some with significant fading from the sunlight, and the shift in the text or the type on the box relative to the folds. I think that's got to be production, how the cardboard's fed into the machine. And then the box with Richmond Surrey on it there, so that dates it to early production before trying to move their factory down to Margate. Of course, I think they built their own factory in Margate. Must have been a wonderful place to visit. So storming down the incline there. Let's see if I can follow this along here without bumping into anything. My son's doing an excellent job of driving the train here today, quite enthusiastically, it has to be said, but I think these were designed to drive quite enthusiastically. She's going to come through points number 8 onto the inside line here. Lovely through there. Of course, those deep wheel flanges are really helping it stay on the track rather than bouncing off. One of the advantages of crude wheels, I suppose. But lovely group of models, lovely sound. Storming around past the station. Got a lovely view of the Davy Crockett here. But I think that's probably about it for this week. It's hugely appreciated that you keep looking back. It really is quite amazing how many of you watch and how many of you comment and share your thoughts. So it really is appreciated. So thanks again for watching. And if you look back again next time, we'll have something else from the range to look at. Goodbye now.